Hey guys, what's up? I'm still riding the heat wave out here in California, but I'm out in my garage doing some gear stuff. I just want to talk about this guitar I got, about a month or two ago, the Schecter Sunset Triad. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so when this guitar came out, I think last year, the internet was abuzz because of this triple humbucker pickup. And, at first I'm thinking, oh, this is just kind of a gimmicky thing. This is just sort of like something to kind of shake it up a little bit. But to be honest, after owning this guitar for a couple months, I gotta say, this guitar at its price point, and I think it's on sale right now at Sweetwater for like $6.99. I don't think this one can be beat, and I'm going to go through some of the features here, and we're going to play some tones, and you're going to see why. I got this as an impulse. Like, I had no intention of ever owning this guitar. I had seen it a few times pop up, and I just kind of brushed it off because, again, this triple humbucker just seemed kind of gimmicky to me. I really do like the shape of the guitar. If you look at it, I don't know if I can capture it on the thing, but it's all black. Oh, that's a good spot. So if you look at it, it's got that like Keith Merrow kind of profile for their signature guitars from him. The really sharp, horns, super strat style thing. It's a really sleek looking guitar. I got fingerprints all over it. It's got the standard Schecter headstock. It comes with locking tuners. It comes with stainless steel frets, and it comes with a 5-way switch, tone, volume, all the things you could ever think of. Hip shot style bridge, not a hip shot, but they obviously are modeling it after that. One of the coolest things about this guitar that I was impressed to see, and I didn't know about until I got it, were the inlays on here are actually aluminum. So that's kind of cool. And beyond that, you're getting a neck profile that is really thin, really fast, reinforced, I believe, neck. And I mean, there's not much to this guitar. It's very simple. It's a sub-$1,000 guitar, but it plays amazingly and it has amazing features. Hands down, one of the best features about this guitar is actually its pickup configuration. And I know a lot of people are going, well, for high gain stuff, yeah, you got a humbucker, all humbuckers sound like humbuckers, and you got a single coil, what's that about? Well, single coil lead tones are some of the coolest sounding lead tones in my opinion. And if you're into like really sparkly kind of almost like human abstract or more proggy kind of clean tones, the fourth position on this guitar is a parallel split between this added single coil that they added to this humbucker and this single coil. So you get that very nice, spanky, very percussive tone. So, and we'll hear what that sounds like. So a couple thoughts about Schecter in general. Now, if you go on to Facebook or social media and you look at the forums and you look at all the shit post groups, Schecter kind of gets a bad rap. And, there's reasons for that. I mean, the monster guitar, some of the absurd, crazy endorsement guitars they've done. I will say that initially when they first came out, the guitars had this upscale aesthetic, but once you got one in your hands, you kind of quickly realized why it wasn't quite, on par with what you would expect for what it looked like. And I'm talking about the Diamond series. Now, the history of Schecter goes back further than that, and the stuff that they were doing in Van Nuys, some of the USA stuff has always been great. And I think it's just now in the modern era that the Diamond series Schecter models have come up to snuff. And almost everyone that I've played nowadays, even something as, remedial or kind of rote as the C1 Platinum that Guitar Center sells hand over fist, they're great guitars. But when you kind of just throw out a little bit more money and you get something with a little bit more going for it, like this one, it kind of does make a difference. And the main reason, I think, is the pickups that they put in here. These are USA-made Schecter Apocalypse pickups. Now, the humbucker that they have in here, they call it the Tri-Apocalypse, but it is still built like the Apocalypse pickup, which is a ceramic magnet with two Alnico 8 magnets that flank that magnet. So it's a hot pickup. And this is also the single coil Apocalypse pickup. So these are decent pickups. And in fact, I would put these up against anything made by Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio or any of the big companies that are out there today. So let's move on to some tones. I wanted to keep this a pretty short video because I'm just really talking about a guitar that has been out for a while, and I'm running through the EV8 Stealth. I'm on the clean channel. We're going to do some cleans here, guys, because there's a lot to this guitar that's good for clean tones, and so it's important to kind of do some clean stuff. We'll get to the high gain stuff soon, so just bear with me. So first up, I'm running through my clean channel. I got it mic'd up. I'm actually using a Lewitt 440 dynamic mic instead of the SM57 because I think it sounds just a tiny bit better going through a Mesa cab, and here's the clean tone. And so that's just the bridge pickup. So when you're all the way to the, the full right, all the way down, you just have the 2 coils from the main humbucker here. And then in position 2, you're going to have the Tri-Apocalypse pickup, which adds this additional coil in series with the other 2. And then in the middle, you're going to have a split between the single coil and the humbucker. And then position 4, you have those 2 coils split again, but this time it's in parallel, and then all of a sudden, you go up to the neck, you have the neck pickup fully single coil. So let's just run through a couple of these. So full on bridge, just regular humbucker. Tri-Apocalypse. And so you can probably hear just quickly how much more it adds to the bottom end of the chain here. So if I'm just going to kind of noodle around and I switch between the 2, it's almost like you put an overdrive on if you were to kind of hit the strings a little harder. It's just more of everything kind of coming through. And that comes in really handy when you're doing a lot of high gain stuff and you need a little bit more harmonic content to kind of get things like pinch harmonics, a little bit more of a fat lead tone. I would say it almost overdoes the chuggy kind of palm mute stuff because it adds a lot more low end, and we'll get into that. So in the middle, we have a split tone between the humbucker and the single coil. And that's just a series split. I think in that position, the single coil kind of dominates. This is a pretty high output single coil. And when we go to position 4, my favorite position for cleans, we get that parallel tone. That's just such a retro 80s kind of plinky tone. It reminds me so much of like Dire Straits or something. But on top of that, if you were to add a little bit of grit, maybe we throw on a tube screamer with a little bit of drive. It does the thing, and it's really cool. So moving on to the neck pickup, standard single coil sound, but really nice. And if you add blue channel, to be honest, like playing Fender Strats, playing any kind of Strat guitar, I feel like this guitar encapsulates most of what a Fender Strat would do, as well as most of what any high gain metal guitar would do with that bridge pickup. So let's go on to some gain tones and we'll kind of see what that's about. Okay, so right now I have it on the EVH Blue channel. I have it set up to run overdrive into the front as a boost. I tend to like that more for rhythm stuff than the full-on red lead channel. Right now I just have the Ibanez TS9 on, kind of standard, fair kind of overdrive. And so let's see what the bridge pickup can do. So with that, just, full-on standard humbucker sound, it's a very tight humbucker. It reminds me a lot of like the DiMarzio Titan or something in that realm, where you have a bit more top-end bite than you would out of like a standard PAF, which is a little bit more scooped, or like even like a hot-rodded humbucker like a JB, which has a bit more of a mid-push. This seems to be a little bit more kind of less bottom end, a little more top end, and a very flat, smooth middle range, or I guess flat, smooth mid-range. I'm just mincing words now. But when you switch it over to the Tri-Pocalypse, you get a little bit more of that bass resonance coming through, and it's a little bit more harmonic. And so with doing like the more high lead stuff, that Tri-Pocalypse adding that extra coil kind of fattens it up and kind of gets rid of some of the pick attack. And then on the chuggy stuff, it just becomes a much more round, warm tone, but it's also giving you a little bit of extra like saturation in the signal, and it gives you the ability to hit those pinch harmonics a little bit easier. Truth be told, I think the regular humbucker is kind of where I live on this guitar. It's just a chunky monster of a pickup. And if we go straight over to the neck pickup, we get more bite and attack from the pick when we do leads. A little bit too much, and I think that's where the lead channel on the amp comes in. If you want something a little bit more round, set up your red channel on your amp to be more of a actual lead channel. That's kind of how I run the EVH anyway. Going back to the blue channel, going back to the humbucker, there's a caveat to this Tri-Pocalypse humbucker. Now, if you know anything about humbucking electronics, two coils, with polarities and windings opposite of each other create a hum canceling effect. You add in another coil in series, that hum canceling effect is diminished or goes away somewhat. So let me turn off my gate. Here's the humbucker with no gate. I have, that's loud, but I have lights up here. I have some EMI going on in here, so you might hear some buzz. So that's the expected buzz that I get from the pickups. If I move on to the Tri-Pocalypse, the hum canceling effect diminishes quite a bit. It's not as bad as going to a full single coil, but it definitely gets rid of the humbucking capability of the pickup. So that's just something to be aware of. So this guitar overall seems to handle cleans, high gains, boosts quite well. In fact, let me go over to my favorite boost pedal right now, which is the Lick Lamb Audio King in Yellow. Let me engage that, put my noise gate back on. And you can just hear how throaty this guitar kind of goes through all these gain stages. If you ever watch the other John Brown's channel, he plays this riff a lot, and it's really catchy, and I really like playing it. Something in that vein, but it's a really catchy thing. Without the King in Yellow on, here's a standard tone. With the King in Yellow engaged. And if I go to the Tripocalypse, so it's starting to get a bit warm in here, and overall, I just wanted to show off this guitar because in its class, in its price point, I don't think you're going to find anything quite as capable as this. And I don't know, for all the, kind of undeserved hate that Schecter sometimes gets from the guitar community, I think they're making guitars that are easily accessible to people and sound as good as anything you'll pay, upwards of $2,000 for, so, or more even. So that's my spiel on this guitar. I'm going to leave you with some more chugging around on the King in Yellow Blue Channel. I'll keep it on the Tripocalypse just for that extra bump, and I'll see you later.